Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. This week I was down at the Solway coast just after sunrise as I wanted to visit a location I'd never been to before, but the conditions when I got there made it impossible to even reach, let alone photograph. So instead my plan B was I went to an old ruin thinking that the rainy conditions and lead grey sky might lead to some moody images. I did manage to shoot that, but there was a lot of rubbish around. So I left thinking I probably wasn't going to get anything from this trip after all. Then, as a last minute choice, I decided to return to Routin Brig, just to see how it was looking under the grey sky and after all the rain we'd had. As always, it didn't disappoint, so stick around, because just before I left we got some lovely warm sunlight across the scene.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. As you can probably see, I'm down at the Routin Brig near Dumfries again today. Now I was actually down here to shoot a different location, but that plan went very awry, and you'll read all about it in the newsletter if you get it. If you don't get it, then there's a link to subscribe to it in the description below. But needless to say, it didn't quite go to plan. So just so that the trip wasn't entirely in vain, I decided to come to Old Faithful, the Routin Brig. Now we've got some beautiful autumn colours in the trees. We've got a little bit of light. There was some promise of mist earlier, which is actually why I came here, because I was kind of hoping that we might get some mist at the waterfalls for a change. As you can see behind me, we've got a lot of leaves falling. And I've actually just seen a huge fish try and jump up the falls. So I'll keep an eye out for them in case we see some more later on. As you can see, we've got the sun just clipping over the top of the bridge, and that's not something I've had here before. So I might start by seeing if we can make an image involving that. It'll involve shooting directly into the sun. I'll try and get a little bit closer, yeah, something like that. So we've got just perhaps a little sunburst, but the majority of the fall, or at least the bridge and the darker areas, will be pretty much jet black. Might be quite an interesting first shot. Right, what about this for a shot? We've got some lovely light just hitting this side of the wall here, and there's some lovely light hitting the water underneath the bridge as well. So I'm trying to work with that. I'm throwing most of the scene into darkness, and I'm just exposing for the highlight. There's definitely some fish down there trying to leap up across the falls. I'm guessing salmon, but I don't know. But I've seen about 3 or 4 now. One of them was absolutely huge. So I'm hoping I've caught them on the video. But so anyway, yeah, this shot, so I'm going in landscape orientation, and I'm trying to make the most of just these little patches of light that are catching the ferns on this side, and then the little glints of light on the waterfall itself in the background. I'm shooting with the 24-105mm lens on just now, so I've gone reasonably wide, and that's allowing me to include the underside of the bridge. But I'm thinking that I might actually go in with a 70-300mm lens and really just pick out details in the falls, because we've got this overhang here, which is unfortunately it's cutting in front of quite a big bit of the waterfall. But I think if I go in tighter with the 70-300, I'll be able to get in really tight and just pick out little details in the falls. Who knows, I might even manage to grab a shot of one of those fish as they try and leap their way up. Fascinating. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to switch lenses and grab a few little kind of intimate shots. So that'll be the next thing to come up. There's one of the fish just jumped there. I hope that caught that. Right, I spent so long taking little detailed shots there with the 70 to 300mm lens on that I filled my memory card. So thankfully the camera holds two, so I've switched over to the other one, and I'm now making my way down to the lower part of the fall. I very much doubt if I'll be able to get into the water today because there seems to be a lot of water going across the falls, but if I can get myself a little vantage point, and I'll see if I can do something with what we have. And I still really want to try and include some of these beautiful yellows and oranges that we have in the trees. We still have the arbor glyph. See it there? Somebody's definitely renewing that, aren't they? So, we're at the water's edge. Do you know what? I like that. See this scene here? If I aim the camera down a little bit, I like these trees. You got these lovely autumnal colours. The pool. If I go wide enough, you've also got this tree here as well. So probably something like that. I think that makes for quite a nice little composition. Let me just try and get out a little bit towards the water. Yeah, that's very deep suddenly. Yeah, I'll look for images where I can make something of the falls, but also include the trees. And this tree here in the foreground is looking like the best bet. Something like that. Maybe go in quite tight, exclude the sky, and try and make something with the tree, the overhanging leaves, and the falls in the background. That places the shot firmly here in autumn time. And yeah, I think it looks quite nice. Just have to make sure I exclude the sky. It's a shame I can't get any further out to make more of the falls, but the water just gets very deep very quickly. I'll see what I can do. Yeah, no sign of the direct light yet. Oh, but we do have some more photographers. I think the sun's actually gone behind the cloud because the beautiful light that we had on the trees up there is gone as well now. This is absolutely spectacular today. I'm really happy that I'm finding some compositions where I can include the trees, because I don't think I did that last time. Oh, I think we have some more light coming. Right, let's get ready. Another rooster in the hen house. Get away, it's my view. I've had people ask me, why do I always go back to the same locations time and again? And it's because they're always changing. You know, the last time I was here, I was stepping out into that water. There's no way I would attempt it today. That huge log there wasn't here. And while we did have some autumnal colours, they weren't quite as dramatic as this, and more importantly, we didn't have those fish jumping. So there's always something new if you just look. And that's kind of my mantra for landscape photography, is always try and find out what's different, what's unique about today's visit, and shoot that. That way you can keep coming back to the same spot time and time again, and always come away with something new. Yeah, we seem to have direct light in all the trees round about, apart from the one I want. So I'm not that sure we're going to get it, to be honest. Can you believe that? We've got light everywhere, apart from on that tree that I wanted to shoot, which is still pretty much standing in darkness. Yeah, it's not going to harm. We have got some light, but it's just not striking the part of the falls that I wanted. So I'm making my way back up to the viewpoint I was at earlier. Hopefully I won't disturb that other photographer. And then I think after this I'll cross the road and see if we can grab a shot or two at the other side of the bridge. First things first though. Yeah, it's not really catching this side. So what I'm going to do is, I can see that the trees on the other side and the rocks on the other side are actually catching the sun right now. So I'm going to head up onto the bridge and then over to the other side and see if there's a shot or two to be had there. Hopefully with the trees and those lovely autumnal colours bathed in this beautiful orange light. Aye. Right, what do you make of this? I've come down onto the ledge on the other side and I'm loving the way the light is hitting this tree here. And because we've got these foreground rocks kind of blocking the waterfall. You're getting it's almost like a rim light right along the top of the ridge there, and every now and again you get water hitting the rocks and splashing up, and that's giving you just a little hint of some action there. I'm shooting at reasonably fast shutter speed so that I can try and capture an image where I've got those splashes shooting up and being backlit. But that is absolutely gorgeous, I think. Again, quite a minimalist shot. And once I've grabbed a couple of shots here, I'm going to try and do something with the way the light's hitting these falls here. Is this not absolutely beautiful? I've taken some shots of these trees. I've also taken quite a minimalist shot of just that little area there where the sun's hitting on those orange coloured leaves. I've taken quite a severe underexposure, and that's because I didn't want to burn out any of the highlights in the water. And what's happening is you've only really got that little patch of light that's hitting the leaf there. You've only really got that standing out against the darker background. And then I've taken a couple of slightly longer exposures so that I've got some fill detail as well that I can paint in if I need. But again, very minimalist, but I really like it. I think it's a lovely image. I'm going to maybe get higher and shoot down the way and make more of this cascade, try and include more of those leaves, and certainly this leaf and these rocks in the foreground. And then I think that might be my last shot. Famous last words, right? Just going to need a crowbar to get me away from here. Anyway, yeah, let's see what we can do. Right, I managed to drag myself away. We do have some lovely light now, but it's still not hitting that point behind the bridge that I was interested in it. So I've decided to call it a day for two reasons, both of them very, very linked. The first is that the battery on my Osmo Pocket is about to die, and the second is that the battery on my camera is about to die. So I'm going to head back to the car and stick everything on to recharge, and then we'll see if about maybe going to another location. So that's that for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to give us a little thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, consider hitting subscribe, and there's a link below to my newsletter if you want to sign up for that, and also the Kickstarter campaign that's running if you want to give me some support for that. It'd be very much appreciated. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, bye.